Like any farmer, Alan Kaltenberg loves the land.
You take care of it like it's your baby.
It's our family farm. All of us grew up here.
It's beautiful.
But woven into the beauty of farm life is the danger that comes with this work.
Things happen.
When he was just 4 years old, Alan slipped into a corn auger.
I remember the pain. It's turning and pushing at the same time, and it cut the arm off. I was the different kid growing up, the kid with the one arm.
A kid who became an expert at adapting.
And I grew up without it. I did anything I wanted to do.
He was so comfortable and so used to having one arm that us as a family, we never really knew any different.
I rodeoed, I snowmobiled.
He played football, ran track. I didn't think anything of it.
And he never showed that he had a disability. It's just unbelievable what he can do. When you get older, that's when you can really realize that, hey, this guy is amazing. There's nothing that stops him.
If he's going to do something, he gets it done, whatever it takes, but he'll do it.
Still now wish I had two arms and stuff, but you don't, so you make do with what you got. You get times where you get frustrated.
He's a very strong person, so he never showed that to us.
Over time, the physical demands of farming take a toll.
As I've been getting older, things are getting more difficult. Some of the lifting with one arm all the time, it makes a challenge.
Though some of his challenges were unique, in many ways, Alan was like any other aging farmer.
Farmers do a lot of physical labor. They tend to be more prone to arthritis and repetitive motion types of injury.
Oftentimes farmers talk about bad backs, bad hips, milker's knee, and they don't think of those things as disabilities. We define a disability as anything that presents a barrier to doing your work.
They'd like to try to continue to do this on their own. They're fiercely independent.
As a farmer himself, Richard Straub understands. But as program director for AgriAbility of Wisconsin, it's his job to convince farmers they don't have to do it alone.
We're trying to keep people farming.
I wasn't able to do some of the things I used to be able to do.
We want to help you with that.
Used to be I could step from there right up over the top.
That means we need to look at making some adjustments.
Keep those ankles moving a little bit and stuff like that. They followed me around for a day, day and a half, looked at what I was doing.
We're trying to find ways that we can make things simpler.
Just convincing the farmers to do things sometimes in a different way makes it easier for them.
Adding a step with a handrail that allows him to come right up and hold onto the handrail and walk right up onto the platform. It's a couple $100 change, but it's profound.
We help provide technology.
How does that work? That works great. These are handy.
I got power tools, I got equipment set up. You can do it on your own, but there's some better ways.
AgriAbility is a partnership between UW-Madison and Easter Seals, Wisconsin. The team understands life on a farm because they've been there.
Well, it matters to me because I grew up in agriculture. In terms of my own life, some people like to hunt and fish. I get on my tractor.
I wanted to be a farmer from the time I was a young man. I've lived through the loss of a family farm and seen what that has done to, our family and my father and myself.
The people I worked with were real good people. They understood the farm.
Farmers are so intensely private. Every time I've been to a farm, when somebody lets me into their life, it is an honor.
Come on.
The work on Alan's farm was a success, and no one could have imagined that AgriAbility would be desperately needed here again.
It was a cold, damp morning. He climbed the grain bin. He didn't have a glove on, and
My hand slipped off the top ring and I fell backwards. I landed standing straight up and down, and the bones coming up the leg splintered. I couldn't put no pressure on my legs, so I knew I had problems. I had to get to a phone, so I crawled from the grain bin.
Fortunately, he let his dog out, which I think saved his life.
And she knew something wasn't right. She crawled right up next to me and stay right next to me, lick me every once in a while.
I think it kept him out of going into a shock.
It took me 2 hours to crawl from the bend up to the shop.
Called my sister.
He said, well, there's been an accident.
I mean, he was just as calm as could be. I was more upset, I think, after I saw him than he was. He was in pain.
I was scared. I was very scared.
The damage was significant. Alan had shattered all the bones in his legs, including his ankles. He had multiple surgeries and spent nearly 3 months recovering.
I couldn't walk.
Where does he go from here? It would be totally devastating for him if he could not farm again.
Basically had to learn to walk again.
Alan was determined, not just to walk, but to farm. And this time, he knew where to turn.
With AgriAbility, there is a place to get some help, and they're there if you need them. It's a big deal. They done a lot of good for me.
As he's always done, Alan defied expectations and got back on his feet and back on the farm.
So we got a lift now that I can get up on my bends to check them.
He can change implements without having to get in or out of the skid loader.
With his attitude, I never questioned if he would keep farming or not. I just didn't think it'd be that quick. That spring when he planted the crops, it was incredible. Couldn't carry nothing at that time. He'd get in the tractor and he'd do a planter full and then wait for me to get home from work, and then I'd fill it again.
I've done it all my life. One way or another, I'll get the crop in it.
How can you beat the guy?
I just think he's truly amazing.
Come on.
He's always out here, always working. It's in his blood. He's crazy about it.
You see a whole life cycle every year on a farm, from planting the crops to harvest. That's the way I've lived my life.
This is the life they've chosen, and I know for my brother, anything else, it wouldn't work for him. This is his whole being.
Hey, how are you? Yeah. Oh yeah, you're my buddy, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Yeah. Farming's what I love. And AgriAbility is able to help and say, hey, it's not the end.